everybody, this is Brandon with Premier Guitar. Today we're taking a look at the Earthquaker device's Pyramids. This is a flange monster. It's capable of everything from basic flange sounds we all know and love to complex, abstract craziness that'll completely annihilate your signal. So we're going to take a look at just a few of the things you can do. This thing is literally jam-packed. If you're familiar with the Avalanche run, this is sort of the same template, but this time it's a flange. Before we get into anything more, I'm going to run you through the simple signal chain we got going on today. I'm playing my Jazzmaster through the Pyramids into this supersonic amplifier, and we're micing it up with a Royer R21, going straight into Pro Tools, and that's it. We don't want to process it too much so you can hear what the pedal's doing. Let's take a look at the front panel, see what these knobs do. We'll start at the top left with the manual knob. This controls the delay time of your modulated signal. Turn it clockwise, you'll get a higher pitch flange, which is a shorter delay time. Counterclockwise is a longer delay time with a lower pitched flange. Go over to the rate knob. This is going to control the speed of the LFO. So when you're in the trigger modes, there's trigger up and trigger down over here, we'll get to that in a minute. This actually acts as the rise and fall time for the trigger modes. We'll go to the width knob next. This controls the frequency range of the LFO sweep. Over here to the feedback, right down here, I'm sorry. This is the regeneration control for the modulated signal. Positive feedback will be past noon, negative feedback will be decreased from noon. And I didn't mean to skip the mix knob up here, that's simply just mixing your dry signal with your wet signal. Pretty straightforward there. The modify knob is actually variable. It depends on what mode of flange you're in. So each time I switch modes, I'll tell you what this does. I opened in the through zero mode, which is based on classic reel-to-reel tape flange. In that particular mode, the modify knob is the delay time for the unmodulated dry signal. This controls where in the LFO the through zero point occurs, which is where you'll hear the most drastic cancellation. Moving right along, we have the rate and tap switch here. This kind of works with the rate knob and the tap tempo switch. They all control the rate, but there are three modes of rate. There's slow, regular, and fast. So slow and low for really subtle, kind of nuanced flanging. Normal mode will get you kind of in a little bit of a wobbly territory, and then when you go over to fast, things get ramped up on top of themselves and you can create really cool overtones. We also have stereo ins and outs on the pedal and an expression output for expression pedal, which controls the manual knob when it's hooked up. This tap switch has a secondary function as the trigger foot switch for the trigger up and trigger down modes. Like I said, we'll talk about that more in a minute. And then this is simply on and off. That's it for the controls. We're going to move right along and check out a different mode. So we started in through zero mode. We're moving right along. We're going to go to the barber pole up mode. Now what this does is it is a constantly upward sweeping flange. It's infinite. It has no beginning, middle, or end. And of course, barber pole down right next to it, it's the complete opposite. You go all the way down, never stops. It's a trip. I'm going to start with a little more subtle setting on this and show you how you can kind of mix it back behind your original signal. I'm going to play the same thing, but I'm going to flip this speed switch to normal, which is going to change the tap division time. I'm going to leave it right where it is. One more time for good measure and the ultra fast mode. This is going to be wacky. Actually not as wacky as I expected. It was a little more of a rotary vibe going on. So let's try another mode. I'm gonna switch it over to classic. This is based on the classic ADA type old school flange pedals that we all know and love. And I'm just gonna see what we can get away with right here. I'm gonna kind of tweak it out, maybe mix it 50-50 with my original signal and see what that gives us. I'm gonna start fiddling with stuff and let's see what happens here. Really shows how wacky this thing can get, but also very usable as well. So as you can see, this thing covers an array of flange tones. And these pots have a huge parameters. So once you find a setting you like, they have already hooked you up and included a preset knob here, which I did not mean to leave out earlier. You can save up to 5 of your presets to have on the fly. Presets on a flanger is unheard of. And it comes stock with their 5 favorite sounds, but you can write your own and save them right there. So moving along, I'm gonna try the trigger down mode, which I found gave me a really strange percussive thing, and this will kind of show off some of the stranger flange tones that you can get that might not even sound like a flanger. Almost sounds like I'm diving on my whammy bar or something there. But there's also a little kick drum behind me, which is very odd. I'll turn the mix up a little more and see if we can make that a little more intense. We're going to switch over to the next mode. I'm going to go over here to step. This is based on a step sequencer section of an analog synthesizer. So to kind of showcase this mode the best, I'm going to drone on one note so you can hear what the steps sound like without me stepping on top of them. So I'm going to start kind of slow and then ramp it up. Like I said, I'm just going to drone on A and I'm going to twist some knobs. So let's experiment. worth mentioning that on this particular mode, the modify knob kind of acts like the amount of time between the steps. So a glissando effect to the right, sharp cutting to the left. I was kind of messing with that a little bit so you could hear the differences. I want to give you one last little taste of what this puppy can do, and we'll go to the random mode. And it's random, so let's get random. Show you how the tap works here. That mode is completely random. I think the booklet says it best on this one. Some men just want to watch the world burn. So, in conclusion, you can see this thing is deep. If flange is your bag, I definitely recommend going to a local shop, plugging one in, checking it out, see what you think. If you dig it, I think they're about $2.99 MAP, which is super reasonable for something this powerful. If you want to learn more about this thing, go to premierguitar.com, subscribe to our channel, follow us on all the socials, and you can keep up with all the new stuff that's coming out. I'm going to play us out with a different mode that we haven't checked out quite yet, the barber pull down mode. And yeah, I'm just going to jam, and until next time, hope you guys take care.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on premierguitar.com.